Mahesh sir. Welcome to this chat. To start with, can you share what is Switch Mobility's current footprint and scale of operations in India's bus market?
See, as you know, Switch Mobility is a global-based company, and we have a headquarter in UK, and we have India operations as well. You know that the Ashok Leyland EV assets have been combined together, and then we made a company called Switch Mobility India. So if you look at the footprint today, in India, we have about 50 buses in Ahmedabad running in the transit system. We have about 25 buses running in Patna. We are, as we are speaking, we are delivering about 40 buses to Chandigarh. And we have become L1 in BMTC to supply 300 electric buses. And we are looking at the LOI to be issued before end of the month. So if you look at our footprint in India, we have close to 100 plus buses. We are looking at 400, 500 buses by end of the year. We also have a global footprint of about another 150, 200 buses on electric mobility.
Okay, that's good to know, sir. So a big barrier to EV adoption is known to be the huge difference in the capital requirement. Like electric buses, for example, are 50% more expensive than the diesel counterparts. So as Switch Mobility, how are you planning to approach this problem statement about reducing the cost structure for electric vehicles?
There are 2-3 elements which are important in bus alone. If you look at FAME subsidy, the central government FAME subsidy really helps in reducing the acquisition cost. There are a lot of state governments also are substantially giving subsidy, particularly for public transport buses for in the city bus movements. We also working as an industries on getting the cost down. I think cost is a number which have to take time and volume. So if the volumes goes up, I think suppliers are able to invest substantially and they are able to get the benefits of economics of volume. And all these are coming together at the stage, I would say, and the EV is becoming more and more viable. The last portion is most of the buses tender, if you look at it, it's a GCC model.
Yes.
So nobody is buying the bus. Actually, we have a company called OHM, which is the GCC or the service provider to run this electric mobility there. And there it is very important that we work on the total cost of operations. So it's not about the capital investment on the bus, but how do we make it viable during operating conditions? So we are working on total cost of ownership to make it viable for customers. If you look at GCC contracts today, they are actually running lower than the diesel buses GCC contracts. So it includes capital cost, it includes maintenance, it includes running cost and everything. So this could happen only with, of course, the FAME subsidy which is in place today. And if that continues, then EVs will become a large number. When the large number come, again, it will reduce the prices of the components, and hence we will achieve economics of scale.
Okay, so there are like buses run by the city and state government affiliated agencies, and there's a huge private market as well. That is, I think, way bigger than the government affiliated number of buses. So, but all the current push is towards the government bus market. As Switch, are you only focused on the government market, or are you also looking to tap the private sector as well?
See, the primary focus right now is to supply STU buses. I think the need for the STU buses itself is substantially increasing. If you look at BEST today, it has opened a tender of 1,900 buses. So there is a huge potential in STU. Having said that, we also feel that EVs will make a substantial economic sense in employee commute and things like that. But COVID in place in the last few months, I would say 1.5 years, we are seeing a lot of people not traveling to office. But when we come back, all the learnings which we had, we have about 3 million kilometers of mobility completely connected through our iAlert system. And we have the data of optimization, where we can improve, where we can get the best efficiencies. With that data, we'll be able to really give very good operating costs for the buses which are running for, let's say, school or employee transport or the transport within the city limits. I think this is the area which needs to be explored, and I feel it's a good.
Okay. And so what about intercity buses? Do you think there is a scope in the near future?
I think intercity buses depends on charging infra across the corridor. Central government have been talking about some EV corridor where they will have a substantial charging infra while it is running, and even parking. If the central government has worked with the PPP model, which in the FAME is supporting private people to invest in charging infra for every 20 to 50 kilometers, that's the discussion being done. If that happens, not only cars will get charged, I think even buses can get charged. So it's a good area to look at, because anywhere vehicles running above 150 to 200 kilometers a day, it will make economic sense. So if we are able to utilize the asset well in EV and run as much as kilometers on a day, then the total cost of ownership will substantially come down, and that will help private operators to embrace. So I believe this is a good area, but it has to be linked with charging infra availability and close coordination with the trip planning.
Mm-hmm. So as Switch, any particular recommendations for the policymakers to expedite the adoption of EVs in bus segment?
I think the government, both the central government and the state governments, are doing substantial enough to promote electric mobility. I think the awareness among public, the policymakers, industry have taken in a very rapid phase for the last few years. So I don't think anything more we need, but if we implement substantially all the policies already announced on the ground itself, it will help to promote electric mobility. That's what I believe. So if we have the FAME 2 continued and enhance the pool for electric buses, and then state governments, STUs now are having very ambitious plan for electric mobility on GCC model. This needs a lot of capital infusion. So I would say that we need to look at how do we capitalize them, and how do we bring on priority lending for such EV buses companies and EV buses, where it has to invest large, what I would say, fund to run the buses and then do a GCC model. It's like we have to look at priority lending like infrastructure for electric bus capitalization and running.
Okay, right. So some of the industry leaders we've spoken to, they're of the opinion that in place of a capex incentive on bus procurement, and opex incentive will be better in the long term, because it will also ensure that the buses are kept in running for the period you want the incentives coming in. So I just wanted, and it will also allow the private players to take up electric vehicles in their fleet. So what are your views on this?
See, we should solve the problem directly instead of doing a lot of indirect things. The direct problem in EV is upfront capital cost.
Yeah.
That is known everywhere. And upfront capital cost, if it is the problem, you have to solve it by giving upfront subsidy. Otherwise, revenue collection will be not be very, not so many players will come. I think government has thought over it and did the right thing by giving upfront subsidy, either it is two-wheeler or it is car or it is buses. I think that is the right way. There may be some benefits by doing a different way, but I don't think there is a substantial merit to shift to OPEX model. I think we need to solve the CAPEX problem through CAPEX subsidy. Okay.
And we're also interested to know, apart from the buses, what other segments is Switch Mobility going to launch vehicles in? There is ELCVs, Dost and Bada Dost listed on Switch's website. So what are your plans for launching those electric models?
See, we are looking at e-commerce and last mile and mid-mile delivery as an important segment to address in electric mobility. So we believe that Dost and Bada Dost is a very good product which can serve some of the needs. So we have done some feasibility and we are working on a project to make it to customers. So that is the area we are still exploring, and we have not yet announced a date by which we will launch it. We will once our plans are confirmed, then we will announce.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Babu. It was great speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Same here. Good day.